Do you ever feel like your kid just seems to hate anything to do with learning? If you feel that way, you're in the right place. Today, I'm talking about resistance in learning. What can be the common causes for resistance in learning? This is a soft place to fall and to chat openly about some things that can be kind of taboo. It's not easy to admit that your kid might just hate everything that you're choosing to do in your homeschool. It's not easy to feel like maybe you don't like your child when you're in those moments and you've worked so hard to try and create a beautiful homeschool and they seem to just hate everything that you've tried but don't want to go to school either. These kind of situations can feel really isolating, especially when friends and family don't seem to understand and their solution is send your child back to school. That is not the solution, and often it can make things even worse. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany and this is Hint Life Homeschool. You can find me over on Instagram. I'd love for us to connect over there. I share a lot of daily what we're doing in our homeschool, all of our adventures and weekly summaries of what we got done and how I organize all of that. Everything is over there, so you can go and check that out as well. If you are new here, I'd love for you to like the video, subscribe. It supports my channel and I'd really love to connect with you here as well. My aim for this video today is to give you some pointers to send you in the right direction, because every child is different. You may need some professional advice, and I have got some wonderful books to get you started off with delving into the intricacies of what could be going on right now with your child. There are quite a few things that could have created this situation for your child and how they perceive everything that they're being subjected to. And it might just open your eyes to see through their perspective, or kind of just, give you a couple of things to start investigating and opening up the lines of communication with your kids. Okay, so my first tip is understanding the resistance. I think the important thing here is to understand the resistance and dig deep into that. So that involves having a conversation with your child and trying to get to the bottom of why they're resistant. And they might just say, I'm just not interested in that stuff, or I'm really just I don't like this. And that could be part of the reason, but often there can be some deeper meaning behind the behaviors. Most times there are some deeper meaning behind the behaviors, and that can be things like special needs. They might have something going on that they need investigating, and they don't actually understand what is going on, but they know that they don't feel right during that learning time. It could be something that is a learning challenge like dysgraphia or dyslexia or dyscalculia. There are so many things that can be going on that they can't communicate with you. They just know that this is really hard and it doesn't feel good for them. It's really easy to assume that when we've taken our kids out of school that they'll be happy and appreciative, but that is not always the case. And often it can be due to a trauma response. It could be a mixture of these reasons, and it's not always clear that these things are going on, and that's why you really need to form a team of support around you and your child so that you can get to the bottom of some of these more complex issues as well. Brings me to my next point, which is some recommended reading. So I have not come up with all of these strategies and approaches on my own. It has been through research, through visiting doctors and professionals that really understand what's going on deep down in our kids that could be the cause for some of the behavior issues. So for us, there were a number of reasons, and some of the books that I'm going to recommend to you today were the starting points, were the absolute gold in getting me to where I am with my child, where we have an understanding. But these books really gave me the confidence that I'm on the right path, and I'm going to list them in the description box below. But the first book is The Thriving Child. That book was probably one of the greatest parenting books I have read, because and also it's not specific to homeschooling, but it really feels as though the author believes in homeschooling because of the kinds of advice and observations that he has had. It was a really fantastic book. The other book is Simplicity Parenting, and then the next book is Daring Greatly. Again, not specific to homeschooling, and I think that is kind of the key, because I think that this is more of a parenting sort of problem. Even though we're trying to do homeschooling, I think that this is more of a parenting connection issue, and in a lot of ways as well, because if our kids can't express to us how they're feeling or what's going on, even just the tiny little inklings that something's wrong, they don't feel comfortable, do they? So we need to work on that connection with them so they can start to open up and really kind of just feel comfortable enough to delve into these troubles that they're having that's going on. Okay, so my next point is facing the hard truths. So it can feel like the behaviors that your kids are showing you when they're not engaging and they don't want to cooperate and they don't want to go do that thing, and you've worked so hard to create this environment and be able to homeschool, it should just feel easy, right? But it doesn't, and it is incredibly disheartening, because we kind of start to think, are we doing the right thing? Have we done the wrong thing choosing to homeschool? My kid doesn't love learning now. Have I ruined them? All of those kinds of spiraling thoughts can invade and take over, and that's when we start to really push back hard, and it becomes this battle, and we need to swallow some hard truths and understanding that we're probably not handling these situations the best that we could. Now, the books that I've mentioned earlier will help you with that. It requires work, it requires your time. You have to sit and read the books or listen to the books, but I highly recommend it, because it really does open your mind, and it starts to kind of make you feel like you're not in this alone. And if you don't have access to professionals in your real life, and you can't get to appointments and things like that, these books can be really helpful. I highly recommend all the other things as well, looking into those things, but the books are a great place to start to know where some of these problems might be coming from. Wanting to win the person, not the argument. So when it comes to our kids, we never want to feel like we're just we get caught up in wanting to be right? Like, we want to be right. We want to show them that we're right. This is the right path. This is the way. This is what I want for them. I want the best for them. We have the best of intentions. So why can't they see that and just know that if they do this, 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 and this, everybody's going to be happy and good things will come. But it doesn't work that way. And we have to remember and hold back and know that we want to win the person, not the argument. We want to win our child. We want to win the connection with our kids. And we're ruining that by fighting the fight and trying to be right all the time and trying to prove our kids wrong. And that doesn't result in a great relationship when we're constantly fighting them and constantly trying to be right and prove them wrong in the decisions that they're making. We want to be on the same team as our kids, and we want them to feel like we're cheerleading them on into life, and we want to foster a love of learning. And you can't do that if you're fighting them to learn in the way that you think is best. They have to, if they're disliking a method that we're offering, then there is other methods, and we have to open our eyes to that. So that's why I said this point was hard truths, because we have to get real with ourselves, and we have to really look at ourselves as well. We are part of the problem. It's not just our children. We are part of the problem, and we have to accept that. And that is a hard pill to swallow, but it is something that is integral to have humility and understand that we have a part to play in this, and we can choose to be on our child's side, or we can choose to be right. My next point is finding common ground. So winning your child's trust is incredibly important. We need to cut the manipulation, and we need to try and not make everything a lesson. So how do we do that? We find common ground with our kids. We connect with them. So we play Roblox if we have to. We play Minecraft. We will go and see that movie that we're really not keen on seeing, because that is what brings joy to our kids. We will go fishing. We'll learn how to fish. We will do things that are not things that really bring us joy. Then we find some common ground along that. Some of those things we might enjoy. We will share some of the things that might be something that they've never done before that we love doing, and kind of start to try and find things that you have in common with your kids, because there will be something. There will be something that you have in common, and that is where friendship, a relationship is formed. And if you don't have those things, that is where you start. You start with joining them in some of the things that they love, and do it enthusiastically. Thank them for their time to show you how to play that game. Thank them for playing with you and showing you a different side of them. Acknowledge that you're taking their time to teach you how to do those things, even though they might not be something that you enjoy. Really just evoke your inner child and just try and connect with your kid in a playful way. It's okay to just let go and just try and connect with them. So that is how you start to build a relationship, start to build trust with your child. You start to form that relationship in the sense of understanding who they are right now, because often our kids just grow up so fast. How we think of them can be still like 3 years behind, if that makes sense. It's often that they've one-upped. That's what I tend to say. My husband and I tend to go, they've one-upped, which means they've kind of like leveled up, and their mindset is totally different, or their mindset is in the middle of changing to another level where they're older and wiser than what they used to be. Their interests are changing, and that is where you need to level up as well in what your expectations for them are, and what their interests are, and try to get to know that new level of child that you're dealing with. And it does really help your mindset kind of shift into thinking, okay, I need to get to know my kid again. They have new interests, they have new thoughts, they've evolved, and we need to work together with them on that. It's just such a wild ride, guys, but it's worth every bit of effort that you put in. My next point is to ditch the lesson mentality. And that is, we can often feel tempted when we're trying to work on that relationship with our child, trying to play Roblox with them, trying to play things, and we start to become the teacher instead of the parent or / friend. So the problem with this is that we're breaching their trust, and they'll feel really betrayed because they've devoted some of their time and energy to teach you how to do these things that they're interested in. And then we go and manipulate the situation into trying to make it educational. And it's a dangerous game, and it can be forcing them into a box that they don't feel comfortable in. And it really does breach that trust, and that's where they'll fight back twice as hard. And if you think you had disconnection with your child, you'll have even more disconnection now. So it is not the way to win your child. It is not the way to form the relationship. And if you're starting to do that, it's okay if you can stop yourself when you start to do these things, because you probably will. If you've been trying to take that approach previously, it might just naturally start to be, this could be a really great lesson. I'll teach you how to play shops in Roblox, and we'll do math, and it becomes a whole different thing to what your kid had envisaged with you. So by all means, you can attempt to form lessons out of their interests later on, but right now, when you're in that fragile state, still trying to reconnect with your kid, now is not the time for that kind of approach. If you're going on an excursion and you're trying to really get the education out of that excursion, your kids will just start to really disengage with you, because it becomes condescending. It becomes like you're talking down to them in a lot of ways when we're trying to explain the education in the thing that they're seeing. The thing is, with a lot of excursions, I have seen educators do that. And I do understand why they do it. And it's not that it's wrong, it's just I do also observe the kids' reactions, and it's the eye rolls and the, just that you're missing it. And they are getting a lot out of it. And you can do a lesson on it tomorrow, but how about we just focus on connection right now and letting them absorb what they want to absorb out of that experience. And if you want to create a history lesson on that person that they were, exposed to in that excursion, do it another day perhaps. But right now we're out and about, it's fun, let's just enjoy the day and allow them to absorb what they think is important to them. There is no right or wrong with these kinds of things, and I certainly don't want you to think that, everything that I observe is how it needs to be. But trial and error, and if you're seeing the eye rolls and the huff and puff kind of reaction when you're starting to get on the educational bandwagon, maybe take a step back and read the room and go, okay, all right, that's fine. I was really interested about that. I'm going to go and read about this because I'm super interested, and you can go ahead. That's fine. And take a step back and acknowledge that maybe you might have overstepped. You'll be surprised when you do those kinds of things. They'll be like, oh, you actually saw that I didn't want to do that, and you stopped, and you didn't want to upset me. And that also contributes to building trust as well. And there you have it. So those are my tips. These are my go-tos when I'm starting to feel like there is resistance happening. These are the things, the quick points that I think should set you in the right direction for figuring this out in your homeschool. It is figure-outable. You can absolutely reset the course for your homeschool. It takes time, it takes energy, but it is 100% worth it because you're going to end up with the best relationship with your child. And the thing is, when you work through hard times, you come out stronger. You're going to build that trust with your child to know that you really do care and that you're going to put the time and effort in. And it will set you up for a really great foundation in your homeschool. So don't despair. Don't feel like you're just really not good at homeschooling, because it can feel like that. I understand. But we can work through these things, and I hopefully have helped you work through some of these mindset shifts and set you in a good direction with those books, as just some of those tips to look into, things that might be going on deeper, and seeing some health professionals as well. I really do hope that this video has helped. If it has, if you found it helpful, please like it. It supports my channel and it lets me know that you are enjoying what I'm creating, and I can make more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.